Hello everyone, this is Sarah from the Kahani Suno podcast. कैसे हैं आप लोग आज? मैं तो बहुत excited हूँ. Today I'm going to be presenting to you to my first story of the kahanisuno.com podcast. I have titled it Till Death Brings Us Together. It's a story, as the name suggests, about love, betrayal, and the conflicts that arise out of these emotions, right? As we all know, love is not just a black and white in emotions. It has various shades to it. But yes, it is the king of all emotions, the one emotion that is responsible for many other emotions like longing, loss, and even hatred on the opposite side of the spectrum. So let's embark on this journey of discovering the many stages and phases of love in my story, Till Death Brings Us Together, Part 1, The Togetherness. The first stop we are going to make is at the Shan mansion, where this is a huge house where the camera pauses at the massive iron gates before gliding into the house. A house that seems to have impeccable manners with its warm and inviting outdoors, leading to its more cautious and secretive indoors. जब भी एक घर में जाते हैं, the first thing we notice in that घर is a bunch of photographs, right? That's how people seem to announce who lives in that house rather than a butler coming and saying, oh, this Mr. and Mrs. X's house, right? So anyways, a bunch of photographs line the walls, frames upon frames of a happy family, a husband, a wife, and we see two daughters. Of course, the pictures move through time almost effortlessly. We see chubby-cheeked toddlers to awkward grinning teenagers and finally to confident young women. One of the daughters seems to have been married, as is apparent from her wedding pictures. The other one seems to be traveling the world, grinning from mountaintops and foreign streets, surrounded by a lot of friends always. It's almost like, one has found happiness in the embrace of her husband as the other one journeys the world, seeming like a restless soul always on the move, but all in all, pretty happy and confident young woman. Then we look at the parents. As you all know, when it's the parents' house, there seem to be a few photos of the adults and more pictures of the children, and that's exactly how it is. So we know that this is the parents' house, right? So the parents appears proud and happy, aging gracefully in a few photos of them that peek through these umpteen pictures of their daughters. Their smiles are ever present, their arms are always entwined, and their gaze very friendly and welcoming. Just when you think that, okay, this is like a simple family, we have all them figured out, you generally happens, right? It is not always what it seems like or what it looks like. There is always something. If you look at something hard enough, then you will definitely catch something that is a little amiss, and that's what happens when you catch a look of wistfulness in the lady's eyes. A faraway look that never seems to go away in any of those photographs that she is featured in, no matter what she's doing. If she's holding her infant daughter in one of them, or helping her older daughter blow out candles in another picture, or just standing silently next to her husband in a professional photo shoot, those eyes seem to be smoldering, hiding secrets, and silently suffering something. I don't know what it is, but something is there definitely. So we have to take our eyes away from those eyes and move on. To look at more at the house, seems like this is a legacy, a mansion of a legacy really. Of course, the cliche chandeliers, huge chandeliers drop down from the ceiling. Everything is immaculate, like someone in the house has OCD. OCD people have this thing, everything in its place, a place for everything. And believe me, living with someone like that is quite a challenge. It will have you develop OCD, even if you don't have OCD from the beginning, if you live with OCD people. Fair warning, right? Anyway, so there are white walls, there are brown and gold furnishings, everything is regal, tasteful, and expensive in a way that whispers that no stone was left unturned, no matter how pricey the stone was. The way we never look at the price tag kind of rich people, most of us know these people. I wish I were one. I wish somebody said, I know Sarah, she's one of those kind of rich people. Anyways, wishful thinking. Let's continue with looking at what the house has to offer for us. There are sculptures that are standing in solemn silence. There are famous paintings that stare back at you as you try not to get lost in their intricacies. There is another thing that catches your eye, and those are hunting trophies that line the walls. There's antlers, there's antique rifles, there is all these relics of leisure and prestige, right? Suggesting that at some point, someone here enjoyed chasing living things for a sport, hunting them, killing them, and not just being satisfied with that, mounting the remains on the walls, replete with the date and time of the act. As you can imagine, I'm not a big fan of these hunting paraphernalia. Anyways, just I don't know how you feel, but I feel like I can't breathe at this time with so much opulence and kind of darkness around you. Trying to fight that feeling of, is this a historical museum I've stumbled into, or is it a house? Anyways, the spell breaks when you see plants, rows and rows of them, right? You almost heave a sigh of relief at the sight. There are plants on tables, in corners, there's hanging plants, climbing ones, blooming ones, but all of them living and trying to break out of the order of the place. It feels like, okay, someone somewhere along the way, just like how we realize at this point in time that, hey, this house had tipped too far, too grand, too polished, too predatory even, and try to correct it in their own way, right? To add that human touch, a feminine silver lining, you could say, to these masculine dark clouds, trying to tame the storm a bit. The plants try their best. They spreading leaves valiantly, color, fragrance, whatever it is. They're almost like they're quietly standing between life and death, right? Life and the reminders of life being choked out. They do succeed. They try their best. Maybe completely they don't, but definitely they help in softening the madness just enough to make it feel like a home. Oh, it's not so bad after all kind of feeling. A loved home, a lived-in home, a home that managed to experience maybe love and laughter amidst this hard cloak of masculinity, right? As you keep looking somewhere from deep inside, voices float out, thankfully. Okay, there is actually some people living in this house. There's laughter which seems familiar and comfortable, and we try to follow that sound into the kitchen. Now let's move into the kitchen, where we find a middle-aged couple making food together. I've titled this scene Love Lightly Stirred. So we have this man who's tall, confident, he wears an apron and stands close to the stove. He seems comfortable there, the air of a man who owns and runs the place. The woman is a few steps away from him, close enough so that she can help him out, but far enough to do her own things. He seems to be the main chef, moving with quiet authority while she assists him only when he needs her. Between tasks, she tends to the plants, snipping a leaf here, adjusting a stem there, quietly trying to keep their unruliness from spilling into the calm symmetry of this home, which seems to be, like, as I said, OCD based, right? Orderly, in place, everything. Anyways, he looks at her. He generally seems to be looking at her and says, I told you there'd be a lot of work, he says, watching her tend to these plants. She justifies quickly, a little too quickly maybe. I don't mind. After Sonia and Sophia left, these plants are like my children, she says. She then hesitates for a minute, like she's trying to decide whether to say the next sentence or hold off on it, making that decision where we are caught between should I say it or should I not say it, but then she goes for it and says, thank you for allowing me to keep them. He nods almost absent-mindedly, like it didn't matter, and then he asks for something. She eagerly hands it to him, thankful for being given this chance to recover. We all like these reprieves, right? When there is an awkward or embarrassing moment and that can be replaced by a physical activity, we lunge at it. That is the kind of feeling we get when she hands this thing to him. He takes it and then as an afterthought, he grabs her hand. He twirls her once neatly without missing a step. She laughs, surprised, and they sway briefly between countertops and simmering pots before returning to what they were doing. ये उम्र में, middle-aged उम्र में, I think romance is more about dancing in the house, in the kitchen, between pots, food, rather than being on the mountaintops of Switzerland, right? This feels like more familiar romance. Anyways, this moment seems practiced, it seems familiar, like they've done it a lot of times. A very happy couple, well settled, secure, parents of two happy and beautiful daughters, very rich, in love. As I said, everything precisely where it should be, right? Again, the OCD part of it, well, again, as I said before, almost. Okay, let's now move on to scene 3. Again, the title is Silver and Secrets. Where we walk into the night, where the calmness of the morning has given way to what seems like chaos of the evening. And the house is filled with people, a lot more people than the people we saw early in the morning. Now the dining table has come alive. There's a lot of food being laid out. Some of the food might have come from those simmering pots that we talked about. Plates have been moved. Some of the plants have been moved to make way and space for people. Glasses have been filled. And of course, as is customary, a cake waits patiently in the corner. I don't think any celebration is complete without a cake, right? Anyways, the cake knows, like it knows that its time is coming in the next few hours, where it'll be the most important thing in the room. It generally is. Anyways, there is a banner that reads Happy Anniversary. There are roses that decorate the room, the many different colors, carefully arranged, 25 roses in each vase if you count, the silver decorations catch the light. Seems like a silver jubilee celebration, right? 25 years of being togetherness, culminating into that day, that moment, or whatever it is. Now, the photographs on the walls have real people moving beneath them. There's friends, relatives, strangers who somehow belong to the house, and the house is simply humming with celebration. So as we watch, an older man stands up. He has his glass raised and he says, I want to give a toast to Hassan and Samreen. His eyes are a little bit moist. There is a slight quiver on his smiling lips. He continues saying, it seems like just yesterday that Hassan asked for Samreen's hand in marriage. And look at them now, thriving as a couple, as parents of two beautiful daughters and soon to be first-time grandparents. Cheers erupt everywhere as a visibly pregnant young woman rushes forward and hugs him. And he's going to be a great grandpa, she announces. There is laughter, there's a lot of applause. Some tears are already forming as she turns towards her parents and continues with, Mom and Dad, congratulations for everything that you are to each other and for everything that you are to Sophia and me. Her voice steadies and she says, if I had to choose one thing that I'm forever grateful for, it's the fact that I was raised by the both of you. Mom, you're one of the gentlest and most loving creatures in the world. And Dad, you have always been there emotionally, financially, personally, and you still are. I would think that my son would be a fortunate kid if he manages to get even a tenth of the love and support that I've had in growing up in this house. Again, everybody erupts in applause. Sonia heads over to her parents and hugs them. Her younger sister, Sophia, joins in. More pictures are taken for those pictures again in the frames. And the guests start to eat. I think these celebrations are more about pictures rather than anything else to preserve these memories. I don't see anything wrong. I know some people say, why are you always posing for pictures? Why are so many pictures being taken? Well, that's what help us to continue our memories. In case we forget some detail, we can always go back to that picture and it comes back to us. It's similar to how music is, songs are. They take you back in time to that time where you heard the song first. Similarly with pictures, when you look at them, you get transported back into time, and nostalgia is something human beings always covet, right? Anyways, the house dissolves into conversations. There is laughter and there's a clink of force against the plates. Soon dinner is finished and everyone is sitting in the giant living room with all those paraphernalia and the sculptures and the paintings and whatever it might be. Well, but the most important thing right now, as I said before, the cake taking its place in the sun. The writing on it reads, Happy 25th anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Hach. The couple is standing next to the cake. Both of them look stunning, of course. The woman wears a white sari with silver threads crisscrossing the fabric, and the man wears a grey sherwani with silver clasps. She looks grand in a simple diamond tennis bracelet adorning her wrist. She's holding a knife in her hand, ready to cut the cake, when the small crowd gathered around her breaks into shouts of Samreen's speech as someone thrusts a microphone in her hand. आप लोगों को तब पता नहीं, बट मुझे जब कोई स्पीच out of the blue कहता है to give a speech, it becomes a little bit scary, right? But people generally do that, especially in things like this, where introverts like us get thrust into the limelight saying speech. But then there are some extroverts who really pounce at the opportunity. But I think I'm one of those people, like Samreen is, I think, who are a little overwhelmed when something like that happens. But that's exactly what happens as Samreen gets a microphone in her hand. Thank you, Samreen whispers as she takes the microphone. The crowd quietens instantly. She thanks her husband first, then her daughters. Thank you, speecher guys. Her friends, her grieving father, who along with her is still recovering from the death of her mother a few months ago after a long, hard battle with cancer. She thanks her brothers, her lifelong companions, their common friends. Gratitude spills out from her. It's measured, it's heartfelt. Anyone can see that she means every word that she's saying. Samreen seems to be a person like that. She goes on to thank more people, and then finally she says, if I thank each one of you individually, I don't think the night would be enough. Saying that, she turns to her husband and says, your turn, Mr. Haq, passing the microphone to him. He takes the microphone and once again, like an echo of what happened in the morning, he spins her before she can react. The room bursts into applause and laughter, but she seems to stiffen for a very brief moment, so brief it almost goes unnoticed before forcing a smile and also the look in her eyes. 25 years, Hassan says as he lets her go. The most beautiful years of my life, and you can see why. I am married to an angel. I'm truly blessed to be part of this family. My own little angel, he says, as he looks at their daughters, who have made their way and are flanking their parents on either side. Summer, I'm honored first to be your husband and next to be their father. I'm the luckiest man in the world. Samreen, Sonia and Sophia, I love the three of you to the ends of the world and back. They embrace. There isn't a dry eye in the room as the room once again falls silent. And then there it is, a clap. A very frail but distinct meeting of the hands. The room falls silent as if determining if what they heard might just be a figment of their imagination. But no, there it is again. Clap, slow and weak, but very much there. Like it does not belong there, but it is not at all apologetic about being out of place. Clap, harder and colder this time around. All heads turn towards the direction of the intruding noise. They see a woman at the door, an old woman from the looks of it, proud but not quite erect. Her frail figure appears like a silhouette, dressed as she is in all black, ready for a funeral rather than a celebration, completely out of place. Her hands, frail and trembling, continue clapping. Congratulations, Hassan, she rasps. The air shifts as Hassan stiffens. The air of his that we saw around him in the morning, in the evening, with the guests, evaporates in an instant as he hears him address her. It's interesting to watch confident people go from being cocky and arrogant to suddenly like the air is taken out of their lungs when they see something. It's interesting to watch that phenomenon. I'm sure an actor here, and I'm sure Hassan would be like SRK for me, right? Would be love to see SRK's expressions at this point. 25 years, she continues, with a heavy sarcasm lining her words. Silver Jubilee, is it? Or is it 27 years? She says as she turns to Samreen. Samreen looks like she's seen a ghost. The faraway look on her ears has been replaced with a look of wonder. It's like she can't believe what is happening. Mama, she whispers, stepping forward as she regains her composure. Don't call me Mama, the woman snaps. I am not your Mama. मैं तुम्हारी माँ नहीं हूँ. Mrs. Norman, says Hassan as he reaches out to her, trying to put his arm around her shoulders. He seems to have recovered back to his confident self. He's trying to presumably calm her down, but she shoves his hand away. Don't you dare touch me, she screams. Hat mat lagao mujhe, right? A little too roughly, that takes a lot of effort from her frail frame. She stumbles and falls forward as if her body is surprised by its own audacity. Sonia and Sophia rush to help her up. The woman looks at them as tears stream down her face. Do you girls know who I am? She asks. The despair in her raspy voice replaced by a kind of fondness reserved for grandchildren. I'm sure if you watch grandparents, they have this special sort of nice, loving voice towards their grandchildren that seems to disappear for their children altogether. No, Sonia whispers. I'm your dadi, she says. Shockwaves ripples through the room as the entire room suddenly erupts into a buzzing sound. It has been quiet all this while, right? Looking at this drama going in front of the family drama in front of their eyes. So suddenly now it erupts as if everyone is talking in whispers at the same time. You can't be. My dad is an orphan and my mother's mom passed a few months ago, Sophia says, coming forward. The woman laughs bitterly. Yes, he is. He is an orphan who stole a son's life. My son's life. The buzz dies and there is pin drop silence in the room again. The eyes of the crowd dart from the old woman to the couple. Hassan is speaking to someone on the phone. All color has left Samreen's cheeks, bringing them dangerously close to the color of her sari. As you know, it is white. A man sprints in from outside and takes the old woman by her hand. Mrs. Norman, please come with me, he says. She does not resist. She reaches out once again and kisses Sonia and Sophia on their heads before being led out by the man. She's muttering to herself. Her hands are shaking uncontrollably, but she keeps walking, holding her head, trying to suppress the knot in her throat as she tries to walk steadily, proud but not erect. Samir steps in as the woman leaves the room. With practiced ease, he apologizes to the guests, an older relative, dementia, did not know what she was talking about, a misunderstanding, assuring them that everything is under control. He urges them to continue celebrating, and they do. The cake is cut, the songs are sung, the food is praised, smiles are worn everyone, more pictures are taken, of course, and eventually the party comes to an end. Later, when the house has finally fallen silent, Hassan turns to Samreen and asks her what she would like as her anniversary gift. Following the ritual he himself had established a few years ago, every anniversary she chooses a gift, something meant to remain private between the two of them. Diamond bracelets, exotic vacations, expensive cars, indulgences that spoke the language he understood. He seems to have completely ignored the arrival of the old woman. This time, however, Samreen asks for something else, something far greater. Tell them the truth, she says. The music is over. The story is just beginning.
Wow, Sarah, that was quite a story. It started slow and steady, almost comforting, and then it just crash landed. Honestly, I felt like the story crash landed on me.
That was exactly the point, Kabir. I'm glad it hit its sweet spot.
Oh, it definitely did. But I had to ask, while I was listening, I kept wondering, do you have OCD or does someone around you?
No comment on that one, please.
That pause and everything.
Or maybe absolutely nothing.
Either way, it explains a lot. The precision, the symmetry, the way the house itself felt like a character.
Exactly. In that house, it's almost like order isn't just about being aesthetic, it's almost like it's armor right there.
And tonight, that armor cracked.
Yeah, just enough for the truth to breathe, I would say, Kabir.
Or the plants to breathe, you mean?
The plants giving you that, oxygen, I guess. That too, I believe. Yes. So, Kabir, I have to ask, going with our theme of trying to see which movies fit into what we talk about, what we narrate stories about, what movie or movies, if any, did the story remind you of?
Uh, it didn't remind me of one specific film, but it felt
Mm-hmm.
like a dark love story, the kind that looks perfect on the surface, beautiful, elegant, um, enviable, but
Mm-hmm.
underneath something is rotting. Love mixed with obsession, loyalty, tangled with betrayal, the kind of
Mm-hmm.
story where love, though real and throbbing on the surface, seems to be holding a dark secret waiting to unravel.
That's quite an interesting way to put it, Kabir, because, this isn't a love story that announces itself as dark. If in the beginning you see it pretends to be pretty safe, right? Romantic, even.
Yes, that's true. Exactly. It's the kind of love story that smiles at you right before it pulls the ground from under your feet.
Yes, be steady, Kabir. I will tell you this much: the ground will continue to slide and shake. So let me ask you another question. Again, which movie or movies did this remind you of?
Honestly, this didn't feel like a tragic love story. It felt like a dangerous one.
Mm-hmm.
The kind where love isn't tender or selfless, it's obsessive, possessive, almost predatory, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of love that smiles politely, builds a perfect life, and quietly destroys people along the way. That's what I got the vibes from that initial episode, Sarah.
Classic Shah Rukh Khan style, you mean?
Classic Shah Rukh Khan, you mean? Of course, who else does a better job of stealing another man's life and love with that much charm? Anjam, Ram Jane, Dar, Bazigar, and
Mm.
the list goes on. He perfected the art of making obsession look very romantic.
And I'll even add Kabhi Ha Kabhi Na. On the surface, it looks like, a tender, innocent love story, much like how our story starts off. But strip it down, and it's still him lying, manipulating, and cheating his way towards the girl of his dreams.
Hmm. Yes, that's true. And if we are being honest, even the so called wholesome romances aren't innocent.
Yeah, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, for example. Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. He always wins. Not because he's right or because he loves the girl or anything like that, because somehow it seems like the narrative bends to him and his whims and wishes.
Which makes him dangerous in hindsight because we grew up rooting for
I
him.
I have rooted for him. He was my dream man, right? And we somehow never seem to have stopped to ask who paid the price for that love story.
So,
Mhm.
yes, Hassan absolutely feels like a copy paste version of archetype, polished, charismatic, untouchable, um, the kind of man whose darkness hides in plain sight.
Yeah, because the scariest love stories, they aren't that loud, right? They hide
They are applauded,
and they're celebrated.
and sometimes they get a silver jubilee cake. But beware, there's always a lollipop of ours, right? Standing at the door, ready to destroy it all.
Replete with the twitching eye and the unmistakable evil glare, right?
Of course. Something terrible is about to be revealed the moment she enters the frame. I was expecting something really bad is going to happen, and it did.
Yeah, because she just never visits, right? She arrives with history and basically destroys the entire frame.
Not only histories and secrets, too.
Yeah, and she almost always has unfinished business she needs to take care of.
I can't wait to find out what her story is.
Well, Kabir, we will do exactly that in the next episode, which is titled The Death, by the way.
Oh, wow, Sarah. This is getting darker and darker. Absolutely delightful. मोहब्बत भी क्या चीज है, नहीं?
या अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लो, मौसम बिगड़ने वाला है.
बिगड़ने वाला है, शाहरुख खान स्टाइल, डेफिनेटली.
Thank you, listeners. I hope you enjoyed this story. We have used a couple of dialogues from SRK's films in our Q&A session. Would love to see if you can identify them and maybe which movies they are from. We will let you know about that in our next episode. Till then, till another episode brings us together. Shaba Khair.
Thank you, everyone.